Well, tonight's Duluth City Council is looking to potentially make changes to its short-term vacation rental licenses. The discussion comes after a one-year moratorium was put into place last fall to study how those rentals are affecting the housing shortage in Duluth. It is in response to the massive conversion of single-family homes into vacation rentals, mainly in places like Park Point and the UMD area. City leaders say that they want them in the community, not just all concentrated in neighborhoods. Deputy Chief of Life Safety John Otis with the Duluth Fire Department manages rental and housing licenses. He says their study found that vacation rentals have created poor communication between departments, inaccurate data, and loss of long-term housing.
This had led to inspection backlogs, frustration for residents and property owners, unsafe occupancies, and reduced public trust.
One recommendation presented to City Council tonight was moving forward to ban short-term rentals in single-family homes to allow for those homes to remain as part of the housing stock. However, some councilors questioned if that would solve the issue.
So I am taking a little bit of issue with this side. Instead of saying no to single-family home ones, I'd rather see the cap down and some sort of density based on zip code or something like that instead.
Councilors suggested that many visiting families tend to look for a vacation home versus hotels. Therefore, an outright ban would not solve the density problem in certain neighborhoods. Councilors are suggesting the group go back to look at alternative options.